Hey kids, welcome back to another epic video. I wanted to make a very special video for my 100 subscriber special. So, as you all know, I recently, yes, and I do mean recently, reached 100 subscribers, and I have not been putting this video off for 2 years, but I just wanted to share a personal story of mine with all of you for this very special occasion. But first, I gotta give a shout out to all of these loyal subscribers who have been subscribed for the longest time. So, these guys are the most loyal subscribers, and I would like to thank them all for watching the videos. So, first up, we have Aqualia Art, who I'd like to personally thank for making the thumbnail to this video, and please subscribe to her for cool art videos. And next up, we have Repulsive Cookie, who makes epic gaming content. Please go subscribe. And also Dr. Chen Official, who makes very good medical videos. So please go subscribe. Then we got Sniping Squirrel, who is uh, very good at video games. You should go subscribe and check him out. And then the Regretful Interview Show, big thank you to them. And uh, Asian Brownie, who is a very OG channel. I would like to thank you all for supporting the channel and making this extraordinary video possible. Trust me, you will not regret it. Now, today's video is going to be a little different because today I am doing a story time video. Now, if you don't know what story time videos are, they're basically a video where someone narrates a story about their life and maybe you learn something, maybe it's just a funny story, but today I need to share with you something that has been a big, huge part of my life that uh, has impacted me in a way that cannot be described, but I will try to describe it. Anyways, let's get straight into the story. The year is 2017, and I just finished sixth grade with my friend. Let's call him Ricky. Uh, and that's not his real name, but we'll we'll just stick with Ricky for today. And Ricky asked me to go to the movie theater with him to see the newest movie. I said, "Hey, why not?" I simply had nothing better to do. So we arranged with his parents to drop me off at his house, and then we would go to the movie theater together. Now, something you need to know about my friend Ricky is that his family was very serious about going to the movies. I mean, real serious. Like they took it way too seriously, uh, to to the point where it got like ridiculous. So they would actually prepare special movie themed meals in advance before going to the movie theater. So, for example, for before Kung Fu Panda 3 came out, they made him an authentic Chinese dish, which was actually pretty neat. Now, when I arrived at their house, they gave me something horribly disgusting that was not at all edible. All right, they gave me this quote unquote emoji themed lunch. Basically, it was an old, very old McDonald's cheeseburger. Like it already had mold on it and everything, with a smiley face painted on the top. I am not joking. In mustard. It just the bun was almost black. It was that old. It was just nasty, And then they also had a few hard boiled eggs that smelled like absolutely horrible, and they had emoji faces drawn on it in Sharpie, in literal just Sharpie. It wasn't even edible. And then they topped it all off with a delectable portion of a yellow soup mixture they called emoji soup, and I don't even want to know what was in that thing. And I tried every excuse to not eat any of it, but they actually took offense to that. Ricky's parents actually took offense to me not wanting to eat their disgusting food and said that if I didn't eat it, we wouldn't be going to the movies. I literally had to eat it or else we couldn't go, and it absolutely tasted like the worst thing I ever had. All right, it tasted like a rat's butthole that got deep fried in pink sauce. Like it was that bad. All right, but uh, I did manage to finish it without throwing up, and we got to go to the movie theater. Now, something that you need to know about Ricky's family is that they weren't really weird, I would say. They were just like misunderstood. If you guys know what I mean. Like most people in my school, they thought they were weird because they would constantly talk about, conspiracy theories, aliens, government cover-ups, the deep state, and even things like flat earth, those kinds of things, which I mean, it was really hard to tell if they actually believed in any of it or if they just merely found it interesting. But either way, they just constantly talked about that stuff, and people thought they were really weird. And, people at school were even calling Ricky names. Like, the most popular one was Ricky Rat, Ricky the Rat, because they thought he was a spy that was actually working for the government, which is why they called him a rat. So Ricky Rat was like his nickname, and that was pretty mean of them. But at the same time, like it was also pretty funny. So you can't really blame them for it. But knowing this, like there's no surprise that on the way to the movie theater, they mentioned some kind of rumor they heard that aliens would be in this movie. And we're talking about the Emoji movie here, all right? This isn't like some Area 51 documentary. This is literally just the Emoji movie. And they said it would reveal something about the origins of our universe within the multiverse space time continuum and something about Area 51. I had no idea what they were talking about, and I doubt you do either. Just remember that uh, Ricky's family really wanted to see them aliens in this movie. All right. This will be very important later in the story. So at the time, I thought nothing of this. You know, I I I didn't really see Ricky's family as this, super weird conspiracy nut cult. So I just kind of laughed it off, like, haha, wouldn't that be funny? Aliens in the Emoji movie. Like, come on, that's ridiculous, right? This is a movie about talking emojis. We're not gonna have a Area 51, the 9/11 space battle with alien warships and things like that. That's just not going to happen in this movie. So I just thought they were joking, or you know it was just like some interesting internet rumor they brought up. So it wasn't that big of a deal. That is until the incident happened, which will be later in this video. So when we actually started watching the movie, I immediately got bad vibes from this movie because the Emoji movie, if you haven't watched it, do yourself a favor and never go anywhere near it. Don't even watch like clips of it because it is just that bad. Like the animation just like threw me off because it looks so bad. It just like this really cheap plasticky feel to the movie. Like it doesn't really feel like it was animated by a real sentient person, more like just a mindless drone that's been broken by the horrible conditions of the modern animation industry. Like it really didn't feel like actually animated by real healthy human beings, you know what I mean? And every internet meme and reference was outdated. every single one, which is is an accomplishment by itself because this is a movie based solely on internet memes and references and things like that. So I really don't know how they fumbled that bad. Don't even get me started on the plot. It was boring, awful, easily forgettable. Gene as a main character is a super duper bland, boring character with like no real defining personality traits. Like he just kind of hops all over the place with what he does, and he's just super wacky, goofy, not very entertaining to watch. He's like very annoying whenever he's on screen. His mom and dad basically have no emotions. They're just like NPCs. They like never even express a single emotion, which is crazy because this is the Emoji movie we're talking about here. Like that's all they do. But his mom and dad just won't do anything. It's like the actors didn't even try, you know. They're just so bland. And the entire plot is centered around an adventure through the internet kind of thing, which sounds great on paper until you realize you can literally go through an adventure on the internet by just opening up your phone and going on Google. Like, there's no point here. It's you can literally do this at home by yourself. Like, you don't need an entire movie. This isn't some like fantasy world or crazy adventure that you can only experience through this movie. Like you can literally just go online and do most of the things they do in this movie by yourself. You can get viruses, you can open spam emails, you can play Candy Crush, you can watch cat videos and things on the internet. It's really not special at all. And the nothing in this movie really makes sense. Like, how does the main character get a text from um, the girl when she doesn't have his phone number? And also, why do the emojis have to scan themselves every single time they upload to the internet? Like, this is clearly not how your phone actually works. Why why does the Just Dance lady straight up die when the game gets deleted? Like that seems kind of cruel, doesn't it? Anyways, I'm getting off topic here, but this movie is just like makes no sense. And I had to watch this in theaters and they wouldn't let me leave to go to the bathroom or anything like that because they paid $15. Ricky's parents paid $15 for me to watch this movie and they weren't going to let me waste it, quote unquote, which is just complete nonsense. But surprisingly, I managed to make it all the way to the final scene of this movie, which which if you know about what the final scene is, you'll know what's coming. So basically, I made it till almost the end, and then the emoji pop happened, and this scene was so bad that when I watched it, I wanted to gouge my eyes out. I literally wanted to just scoop them out with an electric plug because it was so bad. But then it got even worse because Ricky and his family saw this alien emoji. You can see it on screen right now. This alien emoji in the bottom of the screen during the emoji pop, and immediately erupted into a cacophony of unholy screeches. Like, just started screaming a bunch of stuff that should never be screamed by humans ever. Just like it felt like a portal to the nether had just been opened right there in the theater, and some like demons were coming out of it. There's only a few of the phrases that I remember, but they were screaming like actual like cult stuff, like cult ritual chants and things like that. This much sensory overload was just way too much, and I projectile vomited all of the contents of the emoji themed lunch that I just ate all over the people in the next like three rows that were in front of me. And I just remember screaming like, why? Like, why? Why is this happening to me? Why did you make this movie? And and then I blacked out. I just literally fell to the floor and blacked out. And I went into what doctors later told me was cringe induced psychosis, which is surprisingly a real thing, like a real medical condition that I experienced. I'm told that I was rushed to the hospital where they gave me emergency surgery and I was pumped with morphine and painkillers. I was in a coma for 3 hours and and almost died, which which is crazy to think about because I could actually just not even be here right now. I could literally not be making this video right now because of the Emoji Movie. Just let that sink in for a moment. And anyways, uh, I had like constant nightmares in those 3 hours about just emojis. Like when I was in that coma, I was actually just having nightmares constantly of just emojis and the Emoji Movie. Even after I was released from the hospital, I was diagnosed with severe emoji phobia, which is a fear of emojis, if you don't know that. And I still can't look at an emoji without having flashbacks to that horrible day. And it's been literally like 6 years, and I still can't do that. When I woke up, Ricky was actually sitting there by my bed, and he apologized profusely for what happened, and was genuinely sorry, and he was just glad that I survived. He, Ricky was a very, very good friend, and there's not a day that goes by where I don't feel sad for what happened to him. But then Ricky's dad walked up to me and he was like fuming. He was super mad, and he basically blamed me for ruining their family's movie day and also jeopardizing their chances of spreading the truth to the world about aliens and flat earth and some other nonsense. But then like before he could get too into it, there's some men dressed up in like fancy suits and dark sunglasses came up to him and took him into another room with Ricky's mom. I had no idea what they were saying in there, but I could make out Ricky's parents screaming things like you can't suppress the truth, and then before being escorted out of the hospital. And sadly, Ricky had to leave with them, and we said goodbye and things like that. But I didn't know at the time, but that was the last time I would ever see him, like ever. And I could have said so many things, but I thought we had more time. I tried to stay in contact with Ricky over email, but he became like very paranoid and started going off the deep end. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it seemed like he changed into a completely different person. Like just wasn't himself. The last time I talked to Ricky was on the evening just before school started, when a bunch of people showed up to his house dressed as like emojis. Like they were dressed in business suits, but they were wearing emoji masks. Like literally the emoji FBI. And he sent me a picture and everything. He's like, we talked about it for a little bit, and I thought he was joking. And then a few minutes later, the email was deleted, and a new email came in saying it was just a joke and it was all fine. And I laughed it off, but looking back at it now, it probably wasn't Ricky sending those messages after the original one was deleted. That was probably not him because I never heard back from him ever again. He just stopped responding to all emails, and then like his email account was deleted a few days later. And literally the next day, my parents woke me up at 3 a.m. and we had to pack up everything we could and just left the house. And we ended up fleeing the country, and I actually grew up in this like really off the grid. I never had a phone or anything like that. I did end up returning to my previous school last week and asked around about Ricky, like asked some of my old teachers and some people who might have known him, and no one has seen Ricky or his family since I left. Like they kind of just vanished off the face of the planet, and I got really creeped out after like everyone said basically the same thing, like either oh I can't talk about it or I haven't heard from him in years. So uh, I I just had to leave the school because I got really creeped out. And the minute I got out, there was a bunch of police cars outside, and a bunch of officers were just questioning people. Like I think they knew that I was there, and they were just trying to arrest me, or trying to tie up all their loose ends from uh from the Emoji movie incident. So I got out of there really fast before they could catch me, and it's really a shame. And I don't think I will ever see Ricky again. I don't even think he's alive anymore. He's probably either locked up in some government facility somewhere or, buried 6 feet under. You know what I mean? Like, he's gone. His entire bloodline is probably gone. Everyone who knew him is probably gone. And that really says something about the US government, I think. If they're willing to literally murder, like, anyone who knows this stuff. Like this basically proves that like aliens are real. You know what I mean? Like Ricky, you know, believed in this stuff, and now he's dead. Like it's like what are they hiding? You know what I mean? Like if they're really willing to kill people to keep this information safe, it has to be real, right? So if you're listening to this, I hope you're ready for what's coming. All right, I really do. Start preparing for the apocalypse now because you may not get the chance to in the future. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. It kind of has to end on a sad ending, but you know, it doesn't have to be that way. We can all learn something from this or not. But, anyways, I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye bye.